Hello everyone, welcome to lab 2. The link to this lab is given in the description below. Once you open it, you can enter the contest and you'll see the list of challenges in lab 2. So let's start with the first question, Fahrenheit to Celsius. So the question statement is convert temperature in Fahrenheit to temperature in Celsius, and we have to display the result up to 3 decimal places. In the input, we are given a single line which contains the temperature in Fahrenheit and the temperature is given in float. In the output, you have to give a single line which denotes the temperature in Celsius. That also must be in float and the temperature should be displayed up to 3 decimal places. Let's see sample input 0. In the input we have 43, so this is the temperature in Fahrenheit. The temperature is 43 degree Fahrenheit and we have to convert it into Celsius, and the corresponding temperature in Celsius you can see in sample input 0 is 6.111 degrees Celsius. How do we convert a temperature given in Fahrenheit to temperature in Celsius? For that we have a formula. If F is the temperature in Fahrenheit, we subtract 32 from this, we multiply this result by 5 by 9. This gives us the corresponding temperature in degree Celsius. So let's see how to code it. First we have to take the input. For that we'll import util package. So import java.util.star. Now we'll make object of scanner class. Scanner sc is equals to new scanner. We'll pass the argument system.in. Now the input is given in float. So I'll use the function next float and I'll store it in a floating point variable. So let's declare the variable float f. This is equal to sc dot next float. We'll close the scanner object because we have taken the input. So we'll use sc dot close. Now I have to convert the temperature in Fahrenheit to temperature in Celsius. So let us store that in another float variable. Let us say float c is equals to, it is f minus 32 multiplied by 5 divided by 9. Here I cannot write 5 by 9 in one bracket. If I write that, the answer will always be 0. The reason for that will be this 5 by 9 if written in a bracket will be solved first. So this is an integer, this is an integer. Integer divided by integer will give me integer output. So 5 by 9 will give me 0. So if I multiply anything with 0, I'll get the output as 0. But in this case, f is a floating point number. From float I am subtracting an integer. I'll get this result as float. Now I'm multiplying this float value with an integer 5. I'll again get float because the size of float is more than the size of integer. Now the whole numerator part will become float and in the denominator I have an integer. Float divided by integer will give me another floating point number. So in C I'll get a floating point value. Right? So now I have to output it. In the output I have to display the result up to 3 decimal places. So either I can use system.out.format or I can use system.out.printf. Both are same, so I'll use system.out.printf. So the format here is I have to print up to 3 decimal places. How will I write the format specifier? I'll write percentage 0.3f. Now I have to display the variable c here. I'll put a semicolon. Let's try to run this code. The sample test cases have passed. So submit the code. All the test cases are working fine. So now let's move to the next question. The problem statement is given radius in double of a circle, we have to find its area. The value of pi is given as 3.14 and we have to display the result up to 3 decimal places. In the input we are given a single number in double which denotes the radius. In the output we again have to give a single number which denotes the area of the circle in double up to 3 decimal places. So you can see sample input 0, the radius is 8.54, the output should be 224.204. So it's the area and it's given up to 3 decimal places. So let us try to code this now. First we have to take the input. For taking input we have to import util package. So I'll write import java.util.star. Now we'll make object of scanner class. So scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now I can use this object sc to take the input. So the input is given in double. Let's store it in double variable r sc dot next double. Now what's the formula for area of a circle? The area of circle is given as pi r square. The value of pi is given as 3.14 into r square, right? So the input is complete. I'll close the scanner object using sc.close. Now we have to take a variable area. It is in double. So double area is equals to 3.14 into r square. So into r semicolon. Now I have to display the area up to 3 decimal places. So I'll use system.out.format. You can also use printf. So up to 3 decimal places means %.3f and the variable name is area. So we'll put a semicolon here. Now if we run this code, the sample test cases are passing. So click on submit code. All the test cases have passed. Let's move on to the next question. The next question is movie time. Let's see the question. The problem statement is Mr. Vora went to a movie with his friends. During break time, they bought pizzas, puffs and cold drinks. Consider the following prices. So the prices of all these 3 items are given. The cost of pizza is rupees 100. The puff is for 20 rupees and the cold drink is for 10 rupees. We have to generate the bill. So the input format is we are given a single line which contains 3 integers. So these 3 integers represent the number of pizzas, puffs and cold drinks bought respectively. So the first input is for number of pizzas, second input is for number of puffs and the third input is for number of cold drinks bought. So the output format, we can display the detailed bill, see sample output. So let's see the sample output. So in the input we have 10, 12 and 5. That means number of pizzas bought are 10, puffs bought are 12 and cold drinks bought are 5. So in the output we'll display number of pizzas as 10, number of puffs as 12, number of cold drinks as 5. Then we have to display the total price. How do we calculate the total price? So if I am given number of pizzas are 10, I know the cost of one pizza is 100. So if there are 10 pizzas, the cost of pizzas in total will become 1000. Now puffs bought are 12. For one puff the cost is 20 rupees. For 12 puffs it will be 240 rupees and 5 cold drinks are there. For one cold drink the cost is 10 rupees. For 5 cold drinks the cost will be 50 rupees. 1000 plus 240 plus 50 is 1290. So the total price is 1290 and then you have to print enjoy the show followed by 3 exclamation marks. So let us try to code it. First we have to take input. So for that we have to make object of scanner class. For making object of scanner class we have to import util package and write import java.util.star. So the whole util package is imported. Now I'll make object of scanner class. I'll use scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now we can take input using sc object. So I have to take 3 integer inputs. So the first input we can store it in an integer variable a, sc.nextInt. So the first input is number of pizzas. So here the variable a is storing the number of pizzas bought. Next input is stored in integer b. This stores the number of puffs. So it is next int. For the number of cold drinks, I am using a third variable int c is equals to sc.nextInt. Now I have the number of pizzas stored in variable a, b has number of puffs and c has number of cold drinks. So how will we calculate the total price? If cost of one pizza is 100 rupees, cost of a pizzas will be a into 100. cost of one puff is 20 rupees. Cost of B puffs will be B into 20. And cost of one cold drink is 10 rupees. So cost of C cold drinks will be C into 10. So we'll add all these costs to get the total price. So now the input part is done. We can close the scanner object using sc.close. We can take another variable for calculating price. Let us store that in int price is equals to 100 into A plus 20 into B plus 10 into C. So this is the total price. Now we have to display the output. So in the first line, I have to display number of pizzas, colon, and then the number of pizzas. So I'll write system.out.println. First part is string, we'll write that in double quotes. Number of pizzas, colon, space. Then I'll have to display the variable. The variable is A, which stores the number of pizza. Next, I'll write system.out.println number of puffs. Now this value is stored in variable B, so I'll write plus B here. Next, we'll use system.out.println number of cold drinks, colon, space. This is stored in variable C. I'll use plus C here. In next line, I have to write system.out.println total price is equals to, and the price is stored in variable price, semicolon. In the next line, I have to write enjoy the show, and it should be in all caps. So I'll write that as enjoy the show, and it's followed by 3 exclamation marks. Let's end this line with semicolon. So if we try to run this code, the sample test cases have passed. So now let us try to submit it. All test cases have passed successfully. Let's move on to the next question now. The next question is solve the equation. So we are given A and B, and we have to find the value of A cube plus A square B plus 2A square B plus 2AB square plus AB square plus B cube, and we have to display the result up to 3 decimal places. So in the input we are given 2 values, both are in double, which denotes value of A and value of B, and in the output we have to give 1 double value which displays the result of this equation and up to 3 decimal places. So the equation here is A cube plus A square B plus 2A square B plus 2AB square plus AB square plus B cube. So the first method is you can directly solve these values using math.power or A into A into A. Individually solve all these values and you can then add them and display it in the output. Or we can try to reduce it to make it a simpler formula. So both of these are like terms. We can reduce it to 3A square B. Similarly, these are like terms. We can reduce it to 3AB square. So now the equation becomes A cube plus 3A square B plus 3AB square plus B cube. So this is the formula for A plus B whole cube, right? So now I can directly either use math.power. So I can use here math.power A plus B raised to power 3, or I can use A plus B into A plus B into A plus B. So this is also equivalent to A plus B whole cube. So I can use either of them. So let's try to code it. First I have to take 2 double inputs. For taking input, first I have to import util package, import java.util.star. Now I can make object of scanner class. So scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. Now there are two double values a and b. So first variable is double. A is equals to sc dot next double. The next input is b. I'll use double variable b to store the next double value using sc dot next double. Now the input part is over, so we can close the scanner object using sc dot close. Now we can store this result in another double variable. Let us take the variable double result is equals to a plus b into a plus b into a plus b. Now we have to display this result up to 3 decimal places. For that we'll use either printf or format. So I'm using format here, so system.out.format. So first we'll write the format specifier. So I have to display it up to 3 decimal places. So what I'll write here is 0.3f and the variable name is result. We'll put a semicolon here. Let us try to run this code. The sample test cases are passing. Let's try to submit this. So all the test cases have been passed. Now let us see the next question. The next question is handshakes. So the problem statement is, at the annual meeting of Board of Directors of ACME Incorporation, if everyone attending shakes hands exactly one time with every other attendee, how many handshakes are there? So if there are n people and every person shakes hand with each of the other person exactly once, how many total number of handshakes will be there? So let us see an example. If n is 3, that means there are 3 people attending the meeting. So there are 3 persons, P1, P2 and P3. So the first person, P1, will shake hand with both of these. So P1 will shake hand with P2, P1 will shake hand with P3. So there are 2 handshakes. Next, P2 has already shaken hand with P1. So P2 will shake hand with P3. So P2, P3. So only 1 handshake for P2. Now P3 has already shaken hands with P1 as well as P2. So it will not shake hand with anyone else. So in total we have 3 handshakes. So in sample input 0, another example is there. So there are 4 persons attending the meeting. So we have 4 persons, P1, P2, P3 and P4. So first person P1 shakes hands with P2, P3, P4. So there are 3 handshakes. P2 shakes hands with, it has already shaken hand with P1. So P2 shakes hands with P3, P4, 2 handshakes. P3 has shaken hands with P1, P2 already. So P3 shakes hands with P4, 1 handshake. It has already shaken hand with all of them. So in total we have 6 handshakes. So you can see the explanation also. So the handshakes are P1, P2, P1, P3, P1, P4, P2, P3, P2, P4 and P3, P4. So in total we have 6 number of handshakes. So how do we calculate total number of handshakes if there are n people? So if there are n people, if I select any 2 of them, a combination of any 2 persons will make 1 handshake. So if I select 2 persons out of n persons, how many such selections are possible? So from n people, we can select 2 people in NC2 ways. So I can write this as n factorial divided by 2 factorial and n minus 2 factorial. I can expand n factorial to n minus 2 factorial as n multiplied by n minus 1 multiplied by n minus 2 factorial. So this n minus 2 factorial gets cancelled in numerator and denominator. So the value of 2 factorial is 2. So this gets cancelled. So the formula remaining is n into n minus 1 by 2. So if there are n people, there are n into n minus 1 by 2 number of handshakes. Let's see one more approach of coming down to the same formula. So if I have n persons, the first person will shake hands with remaining n minus 1 people. So it will have n minus 1 handshakes. The next person will do n minus 2 more handshakes. The next person will do n minus 3 more handshakes, right? Similarly, the last person Pn minus 1 will do only one handshake and the last person won't do any handshake. So if I add all of these, if I add 1 plus 2 plus 3 up to n minus 1, so what is the formula for summation of n minus 1 terms? You can use the formula for AP series also, or you can directly write it as n into n minus 1 by 2. So if there are n people, there are n into n minus 1 by 2 number of handshakes. So let us see the input format. In input format, I am given an integer n which denotes the number of attendees. In output, I have to give an integer which denotes the total number of handshakes. So let's code this question now. First, I have to take an integer input. For that, we will make an object of scanner class. So I'll write scanner SC is equals to new scanner system.in. Since I am using scanner, I first have to import it. I will import the package import java.util.star. So I am importing all the classes in the util package. Now I'll use this scanner object to take an integer input. So for taking integer input, I'll use the function nextInt. I'll use sc.nextInt and I will store this integer input in a variable n. So I'll declare a variable of type integer and name it as n. So in n, I am saving an integer input. Now for number of handshakes, I will take another variable. Let us say int handshakes. So this variable is equal to n multiplied by n minus 1 divided by 2. Now I have to print the handshake. So I will use system.out.print handshakes. So if you run this code, you can see all the test cases are passing. So let us try to submit this. So all the test cases have successfully passed. So moving on to the next question. The next question is solve the equation 2. So the problem statement is given a and b, calculate the value of the expression a plus b divided by a minus b. And we have to display the value up to 2 decimal places. So in the input format, it's a single line containing 2 numbers a and b in doubles. So we have to take 2 double values as input and the constraint given is a not equal to b. So if a equal to b, the denominator will become 0 and we won't be able to calculate the value of this expression. So the constraint means that the input will be given in a way that a won't be equal to b. The output format is a single number in double which denotes the answer to the equation up to 2 decimal places. So let's try to calculate it. So first we have to take 2 double values as input. For that we'll make object of scanner class. So I'll write scanner sc is equals to new scanner system.in. So for using scanner class, I first have to import util package, that is import java.util.star. So first we will declare 2 double variables to take the input double a comma b. So we'll take the input using the function sc.next double. So a is equals to sc.next double. So the double input given in the input will be stored in a. B is equals to sc.next double. So the second input will be stored in variable b. For storing the result, I am taking another double variable. Let us say we name it as c. In c, I will write a plus b divided by a minus b. Now I cannot write it like this because in this case the highest priority will be of divide sign. So first the division will take place, but I want a plus b and a minus b to be performed prior to the division. So we'll put brackets here. I'll put a bracket on a plus b and on a minus b. So now we'll display this value of c up to 2 decimal places. For that we will use either the printf function or the format function. We will use system.out.printf. Up to 2 decimal places will be written as %.2f and the variable name is c. We'll put the semicolon here So let's try to run this. The sample test cases have been passed. So let us submit this code now. So all the test cases have passed. So moving on to the last question of this lab, that is area of the rectangular path. So the problem statement here is a rectangular path is L meter long and W meters wide. A path P meter wide is constructed outside the park. Find the area of the path. Display the area up to 2 decimal places. So in this question we have a park of length L. The length is L and the width is W. So this is a park, a rectangular park with length L and width W. So outside this path, a P meter wide path is made. So P meter wide means this is the path. It is P meter from every side. So this is P, this is also P. In this direction also it is P meters. And here also it is P. So this is a path outside the park. We have to calculate area of this path. Basically the area of the shaded region in the diagram, you have to calculate that. So how will we calculate the area of this path? So there are 2 rectangles in this diagram. So what we can do here is we can calculate the area of bigger rectangle and we can calculate the area of smaller rectangle. If we subtract the area of smaller rectangle from the bigger rectangle, we'll get the area of the path. So what is the formula for area of the rectangle? It is length into breadth. For calculating the area of bigger rectangle, we need the length of bigger rectangle as well as the width of bigger rectangle. So what is this total length? This part is L. So from this to this, we have L. It is P from this side and P from this side. So the total length is L plus 2P. Similarly, the total width from this point to this point, it is W. It's P from this side and P from this side. So the total width is W plus 2P. So the area of the bigger rectangle is L plus 2P multiplied by W plus 2P, and the area of the smaller rectangle is L into W. So if I subtract this area from the total area, I'll get the area of the path. So let us try to code it. In the input, we are given 3 numbers in float which represent the value of L, W and P. And we have to give the output in this way as given in the sample output. Area of the path is whatever the area is, then square meters. And we have to display the area up to 2 decimal places. So let's start the code. So first we have to take the input. For that we will make scanner object. So scanner SC is equals to new scanner system.in. For using this, I'll import util package, import java.util.star. Now I will use this scanner object to take 3 inputs. So all the inputs are in float. So I will declare 3 floating point inputs, float L, P, W. So first input is L, so I will take it as L is equals to SC dot next float. Next is W is equals to SC dot next float, and then P is equals to SC dot next float. We have to take these inputs in the same order as we are given. So in the input format, it is given that 3 numbers represent L, W and P. So the first input denotes L, second input denotes W, third input denotes P. So I'll take one more variable to calculate area. Now area is equal to, so first I will calculate the area of bigger rectangle. For that, the length of the bigger rectangle is L plus 2P. So I will write it as L plus 2 multiplied by P. I directly cannot write 2P, I need to write it as 2 into P. So this is multiplied by width of bigger rectangle, so that is W plus 2P. I will write this as W plus 2 into P. So this gives the area of bigger rectangle. From this I will subtract the area of the inner park, that is L into W. So after subtracting this I get the area of the path. Now I have to display this area up to 2 decimal places. So how will I write it? I will write it as system.out.printf. In the printf statement I will write the string as such. So area of the path is, then I have to write the area. So I will give the format specifier for it. So that is %.2f. Then I will write square meters and full stop sign. Now for this format specifier, I'll tell the variable name. So the variable name is area. I'll put semicolon here. Let's try to run this code. So the sample test cases have passed. Let us now try to submit this. So all the test cases have passed. So all the questions of this lab are now complete. Thank you everyone for watching the video. See you in the next class.